We're talking about C.S. Lewis's argument from reason, which claims that if naturalistic atheism were true, then we wouldn't be able to trust anything we think we know, even ironically a belief in atheism itself. His argument goes like this. Premise 1. Rational thinking is reliable only if it is based upon recognizing ground-consequent relationships. Premise 2. If two things are related by cause and effect, they are not also related by ground and consequent. Premise 3. According to naturalism, all phenomena are explained only on a cause-effect basis. Premise 4. The category of all phenomena includes rational thinking. Premise 5. Naturalism requires that rational thinking be based upon cause-effect relationships rather than ground-consequent relationships. And conclusion, therefore, a naturalistic worldview makes it impossible to believe that rational thinking is reliable. Obviously, Lewis's argument hinges on the difference between ground-consequent relationships and cause-effect relationships. So what does he mean by this? Well, in his book Miracles, he gave a really useful illustration. We can say grandfather is ill today because he ate lobster yesterday. We can also say grandfather must be ill today because he hasn't got up yet, and we know he is an invariably early riser when he is well. In the first sentence, because indicates the relation of cause and effect. The eating made him ill. In the second, it indicates the relation of what logicians call ground and consequent. The old man's late rising is not the cause of his disorder, but the reason why we believe him to be disordered. Now, according to naturalism, nature is all there is. Everything that happens in the universe happens because of some prior natural cause. In other words, the entire universe is one giant machine. Theoretically, if we could actually see the big picture, a smart enough mind would be able to tell you exactly what is going to happen, because it's all determined by what's happened before. But that means even our thinking is the result of some prior natural cause. Every conclusion we come to is determined by whatever input our brain has previously received. Now, we may think we have the ability to rationally evaluate the options and arrive at our own choices, but we don't really. The ability to arrive at rational conclusions requires us to be able to recognize ground-consequent relationships. We have to be able to step back, look at the evidence, and freely evaluate whether the premises actually support the conclusion. But this kind of freedom is exactly what naturalistic atheism rules out. If we're all just moist robots, as apologist Frank Turek likes to say, then given certain experiences, we are pre-programmed to think a certain way, regardless of whether what we believe is actually true. This means that the atheist's belief in their atheism would also be a pre-programmed belief, not something they arrived at freely after rationally evaluating the evidence. If your worldview makes it impossible to believe in your own worldview, then your worldview can't be true. If, however, we were created by God in His image, in the image of an intelligent mind that's capable of recognizing ground-consequent relationships, then it follows that we will be able to trust our reasoning abilities. So in short, if theism is true, then we can trust our rational mind. If atheism is true, we can't. That's how Lewis presented his argument. Now, next week, we're going to take a look at how some naturalistic philosophers have responded. See you then. God bless.